And here we go. We're rolling.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you for doing this. Apologies for last week. In fact, we're still on sick leave, but with my son. But hopefully today is the last day, and he's going back to school tomorrow.
Yes.
So it's and also it's I'm scratching the days in the wall. I'm doing the thing. It's like it's tough to entertain an 8-year-old
Ah,
for
sure.
5-6 days in a row when you're locked up in an apartment. So
Yeah,
I'm
for
looking
sure.
I'm looking forward to sending him back to school tomorrow. Hey Anna, and welcome.
Hi.
Um,
Thank you.
Hi,
I had
Anna.
problems with the sound.
no worries. So Marty, thank you for doing this. Thank you for not being mad at me for skipping last minute last week.
Hey,
Uh,
I was crazy tired. In fact, I was sitting there like going, I wish I wasn't doing this today. I'm so tired. And then you canceled, and I was like, yes.
So
Yeah.
it all worked out for the best. Okay. Cool. So the whole purpose of this little experiment, which I'm very reluctant to call it a podcast, but I should maybe that's something that I should work on. But let's call them conversations. So the purpose of this is that there's so many podcasts out there, specifically,
Yeah.
even animation themed podcasts, industry podcasts, and some of them are what they are. Some of them are quite good. Some of them are very insightful and put together and moderated by industry veterans, people who have a lot of experience. But to me, I'm just so tired. And I think probably a lot of people will mirror this feeling. There's this fatigue of talking about the industry. What is the industry doing? Where is the industry going? What are the big guys doing? What are the small guys doing? You should bet on this, bet on yourself, bet on that guy. Do this, do that. And a lot of these conversations really have to do with what are the executives doing? Where is the money moving? And that's all very useful, but it becomes very noisy at a certain point. But for me, I am interested in the person, right? So we had a
Yeah.
little pre-chat with you, and I do this with everybody, last week, and I explained this already. But for everybody who will be listening to this later, I'm interested in the person. A little bit of your history, what makes you you, because it's a big world, and our paths through this industry are different. There's no one
Yeah.
uh,
Totally.
pattern that repeats itself, and you bump into somebody and go, oh my god, that's exactly how I got here. That never
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
And these stories for me are really, really fascinating.
Mm.
And what kind of keeps you moving and motivated to stay in the industry? Because, like, generally speaking, the arts in general, but animation as well, it's an industry with a very, very high failure rate. And I am fascinated by how and why people, and even with myself, like I ask myself this question all the time, keep wanting to do this. And I was talking to Kevin last week, and he said, you know what you should call these talks? Why don't you quit? And I thought, huh, that's pretty good. Maybe I'll do that. So think about that question as we talk. And I'm really, really interested in kind of your take on these themes and topics.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's funny. I mean, I can get to that at some point, but I have a very different mindset on where we are right now, than I think a lot of things that I hear on LinkedIn, for example, or the industry trades. I think, yeah, I mean, we can get to that. I have actually
we
quite
don't.
I have a positive feeling about it, to be
Yeah,
honest. So,
yeah.
how should I start? Should I begin with
Just
the
maybe
beginning?
a little bit of background, a little bit of your history would be cool, because I
All right,
I
cool.
think I think it's very interesting. Also, kind of in terms of the function, but also geographically, right?
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I am. I guess you could tell from my accent that I'm not European or Australian. Um, I actually came from Canada. Actually, I have a weird story. I was born in Scotland, and
Oh,
then I moved to Canada. Well, my family moved to Canada when I was a year and a half in a town called Winnipeg. I don't know if you've ever heard of Winnipeg.
mhm,
It's like the flattest place in Canada that's 40 degrees Celsius in the summer and minus 40 degrees Celsius in the winter. Why why people would choose to relocate to this place is beyond me, but economic times. Anyway, so I grew up in Canada and in Winnipeg, and then I moved to a really small town in the mountains of British Columbia, outside of Nelson. It's called, stunningly beautiful, very progressive, lots of lefty, old hippie type people, and really, really a great place to grow up. I think that's really where I got uh, this itch for arts and music. It came from being in that environment, in this gorgeous nature with these kooky, wacky people all around me. And so when I started to play drums in rock bands and things like that, and I wanted to move to the big city to go and play in rock bands. So I chose Toronto. Most people would have chosen Vancouver, but I chose Toronto. I'm not sure why I did, but anyway, I moved to Toronto when I was like 19, I think. Joined a band. I was cooking in kitchens, which is a thankless, underpaid job. Being a
right.
line cook and doing dishes and just like you know feeding hungry people is not it's not a pleasant experience. Um, and The band I joined, the singer's wife or girlfriend at the time was working in animation. Her name's Janice, and she's a wonderful human being. And She was really having a hard time at work. She was a coordinator for a design department, traditional animation. It was all like hand drawn, photocopied, model packs, BG keys, send it off to Korea to animate, send it back on film, and put it together in a Steenbeck, like real old school animation stuff. And so she needed help. And I was like, please get me out of the kitchen. I don't I don't wanna work in the kitchen anymore. Working in animation was great as a musician because, there's kind of flexibility and, I need today off. I got a big gig tonight. I'm coming in late tomorrow, no problem. And so I started in animation there. And being a musician, I had no idea about how animation worked. I didn't draw. I wasn't that kind of person, although I loved art and visual arts and things like that. And I started out being a production assistant for a design department. I didn't have a computer. I had a light table. You guys know what animation light tables are, the translucent disc, and that was my workstation. I had a photocopier and scissors and tape, and I was making model packs. I'd photocopy the design, I'd cut it out, I'd tape it onto the model sheet, and I'd tape out the little words, and I'd make a little pack, and I'd photocopy that and deliver it to all the departments. And so I would have to take the designs to the director to get them signed off. And so I basically, which was an amazing position, is I got to go and visit every single department, talk to every supervisor. And I don't know, if you've been in animation, people love to complain about what's wrong and why did they do this? I've told them again and again, why don't you blah 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 blah, right? So I would absorb all that and basically learned how not to do the job. And I've found that this is basically the most valuable thing in animation is every project, every series, every clip that I ever do, I learn what not to do, which helps me for the next one. And so that's what happened. I just started fixing problems and I would deliver things fixed. And people were like, hey, this guy's helpful. Let's give him more responsibility. And so that's basically how it happened. And I ended up through that really getting into animation and the whole way it works. I mean, my brain works really well with complicated number matrices, connected with visuals and letters and numbers and these kinds of puzzles. And I find animation to be absolutely perfect for that, especially the kind of people that it is. It's introverted artist types, which perfect for me. That's my peeps. It's nice to work in a building. It's a safe place for the geeks and the weirdos and the nerds, and that's a home for me. I love it. And it's taken me a lot of places. So I ended up from there. I ended up going to Vietnam back in 1999 for some horrible, awful project I won't name because it gives me PTSD when I mention the name of that project. It was a real disaster, but the amazing thing was that I went to Vietnam and I saw what it's like there, and not just as a tourist visiting and seeing tourist things, but sitting in an office, working with local people and seeing how things work and being there for an extended period of time as a person working, not just, buying souvenirs. And it blew my mind. It was absolutely the most exotic thing ever happened to me in my life. When you live in Canada, especially North America is really, really bad for this bubble of how we in North America think the world should be, and the high horse that we all get on, and the sort of entitlement that we all have about, the things that we're allowed and should have. These are our rights and things like that. You go to a place like Vietnam and you're like, whoa, this is I feel like a spoiled brat being in a place like this, and it really changes your perspective. And so I came back to Canada and I felt like I can't be around this anymore. This doesn't work for me. Something changed in my brain for the better, and it made me a little more understanding and accepting of the world and how it works, and that I shouldn't really be complaining about the little things in my life because there's so many more people in the world that have nothing and such less.
Yeah.
Not to say that we shouldn't always, push forward and get the best we
Right.
can,
Yes. Yeah.
but sometimes it goes, a little too far. So yeah, I worked in Vietnam. That kind of changed my life. I went back to Canada and I started working again, and I felt like I can't work here. That's it. this is a little too boring. I need some chaos.
Yeah. Some texture.
Some texture, yeah. And then so I ended up through friends of friends, and this is the other amazing thing about animation is that you meet people everywhere in all from all departments, from all skills, from all parts of the world. You come together, you meet, it's connections, and the community of animation really is global. Like the people you meet, in Singapore, in Australia, in Brazil, they all help each other, and these are connections that take you places all over the world. It's fantastic. It's really good. And so from there, I ended up in Berlin working on a feature film, and I was there for nearly 5 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Can you
The
name
film.
this project?
What's that?
Can you name this project?
Yes, it was called Happily Never After. It
Okay.
was a feature film. It was like a kind of a B feature, fully animated feature film. I think John Williams, the Shrek producer, was attached to it. There was Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. were voice acting. It was kind of not big, but sort of
Yeah.
B or A minus or whatever you might want to call it. Wasn't a great movie. Happily Never After, we called it Never Happy Ever, or Hopefully Never Again. It was, we had our pet names for it. But the amazing thing about that was, again, it wasn't necessarily the project; it was meeting all these amazing people, and this because Berlin wasn't really a hub for animation. There's Han Film, which was there, which I think is still there. Gerhard Hahn is a a staple of German animation. But this company opened up kind of for this film, and they had to bring in a whole bunch of people. So there were Americans, there were Indians, there were Israelis, there were Spanish, Greeks. It was like a real melting pot of people from all over that all came to Berlin. I mean, this was before remote working, so everyone had to sit in the office. Oh, actually, we did. We had studios in Vancouver, in Australia, in Tokyo. It was insane, the global reach of the crew of this. But there were amazing people, and you kind of, when you go through a 2.5 year uh, trial and tribulation of making a movie, you bond with everybody, and you go through these trials, and you come out at the end kind of like it's Survivor, or what's the name of that TV show? Lost, or no, whatever, Survivor. I think it's called
Yeah,
Survivor.
yeah. It's like you build a little family away from home, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Together for such a long period of time, and you
Yeah,
bond, and especially, I mean, I think every long production is traumatic.
yeah,
There's just a little bit of trauma in it anyway, because it's hard. There's pressures, there's budgets, there's whatever, creatively figuring things out, and
yeah,
um, but
yeah,
especially if it's not going well, if the
yeah,
wheels aren't greased. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And
you do bond with these people, of course. You spend so much
yeah,
time.
that's the other thing I love about animation and my brain, the way my brain works, is that I love doing this complex planning for this. You predict how this thing will go, and you turn it on, and it all just goes off the rails
Yeah,
at
yeah,
every turn, and you have to. It's your job to contain it,
yeah,
but you have to not just force everything back into it, because when it spills out, there's amazing stuff that spills out. There's like creative, magical moments that happen. You're like, oh, we've got to capture that. So you have to adapt it, and you can't just force everything back into a plan. The plan has to support the creative,
yeah.
right? So when the creative starts spilling out, you either have to push it back in, or readapt to accommodate.
Yeah, it's like
Uh,
I often about these types of things. I think about a mixing table, like in a sound studio.
mm,
All those knobs that I have no idea what they do. I'm just using it as as a visual. The equalizer knobs or whatever.
the faders and the knobs. Yeah, yeah,
So like it's dialing it in,
yeah,
constantly dialing things in. Less of this, a little bit more of that. Like as a director, a lot of it is that, right? When you're making the decisions, it's management as well, right? Because you're just making decisions. But when you are making the decisions, and if you can, you go, okay, a little bit of this, less of this, a little bit more of that. So it's like
yeah,
just playing with that, kind of dialing it in. This we're gonna kill completely,
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. And you
so
never know that stuff until you're in the middle of it, and you see how it plays out, and then you can fine tune. It's really
yeah,
important when in this creative process. It's really important to have the right producer and the right production team that support that idea, because it happens a lot that there's production and producer people that just, they're beholden to the schedule, and
yeah,
they force they force people to fit into the plan,
yeah,
and you know and bad communication can also, like, make artists be difficult. Oh, this is a difficult artist. Well, no, they just actually don't understand what's going on, because you're not telling them. And
yeah,
it's a communication thing, right? And
yeah.
so anyway, yeah,
I can tell you from experience that working with a producer that doesn't feel like they have your back is not a pleasant
yeah,
process.
no,
Uh,
it's terrible.
there's really more when in their mind the production is the Excel sheet, you have a problem. So if
Yes,
the
yeah,
Excel sheet doesn't add up, and that is always the priority, then that's just not a good environment to
yeah,
work in, and then you become the troublesome artist or whatever.
exactly, yeah. It's a heck of a
So
lot easier to change a spreadsheet than it is
it's
to tell
super
20.
it's super important, and a lot of it is framing. A lot of it is just communication, right?
Yeah,
So even if in the back of your mind that's the thing, fine, but then how you talk to the team, how you talk to the people,
yeah,
is very very important. That's where you know your character and temperament, obviously, but also experience.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but
People need
just
to understand the context of why
y-
things are happening.
yes,
Not
yeah,
just do this or do that. They have to know why. I need to know why are we in this situation?
yes,
It gives a lot of context. Even if I don't like the decision, at least I understand why the decision is being made.
yeah. And I mean, for most creatives, it problems. I would say, from my personal experience, like maybe not 90, maybe that's being generous, but let's say 68.5 of all problems percent of all problems are a blessing because we love going off and riffing and
Mm,
brainstorming and going like, huh, oh, I can't do that because reasons. I wonder what else I can do with this. And it's like it's like a jerk. It's an instinct. It's a
mm,
reaction and control, right? It's like, here's a situation, here's a problem. You can't do this anymore, but you have to kind of figure it out in this limitation and in this framework. And you can't help but go, oh, but we can do this, and then we can flip that, and then instead of using this, we can do that, and instead of
yeah,
moving the camera static, and then you know what we can do? We don't need extra backgrounds, and da, da, da. And you just go on this thing involuntarily, and it's fun.
yeah,
That's part
yeah,
of the
yeah,
fun. So it's very important for the thing to be framed as such, like as an opportunity to do something
yeah,
cool rather than, a bad news that you can't do the cool thing that you wanted to do in the first place. But here's an
yeah,
opportunity to do something else that's also cool. So,
yeah.
um,
Actually, my go-to phrase for these situations is with telling people is there's no good news, there's no bad news, there's just news.
yeah, right.
There's just news.
Yeah.
Here's some information. Let's deal with it. Right?
Yeah. So just to clarify, like your function in these productions historically, and maybe this has changed over time, is directing or more like a creative producer type of
No,
position. Uh,
not so much creative, just producing, planning, yeah, making, delivering. In the
no,
trenches, on the floor. That was for a long time, came from management into producing, and then I've been more actually studio operations, like running studios and heading production, and then heading studios, and sort of, keeping an eye over production, over the administration, over the technology, over the HR, kind of tying that all together. I actually quite love tying all these things together because they are harmonious. They are, you need an HR department that understands, that has the culture that understands how production needs to function, how artists need to function, because the most important thing is what's on screen. That's all that matters.
final product.
That's
Yeah.
what it's about. It's about what's on screen. And who makes what's on screen? Artists. It's the artists that put it on screen. They're the ones, you're looking at their work on screen. If they're happy, it shows. You can feel it. If they love their job, you can feel it. You can see it. You enjoy watching it. There's something about it that makes you go, "Wow, this is awesome. I love this."
Yeah. Yeah. There's a
So,
lightness to it,
yeah,
a,
yeah.
a lightness. You can feel sort of the fun. There, so many times you watch it, and especially this, I guess, applies a little bit more to like feature films, but also a lot of shows, short form shows like the latest Mickey Mouse shorts, for example, will come to mind, where you watch it and you go, man, they had so much fun making that. They must
Mm,
have had so much fun making that,
yeah, yeah.
and
You
some
can see,
weird.
you can feel it. Yeah,
Yeah, because they'll
yeah.
pepper in some weird meta joke that doesn't need to be there for the beat to function, right?
Mm,
It's just that it gives it that extra, I don't know, umami feeling, right?
mm,
It still
yeah.
has all the right ingredients and it's fine and it's still funny and it would be great, but
Chemistry.
that
It's
little, because
chemistry.
somebody, yeah, because somebody in the story room went, what if they did this? Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool. It kind of fits, doesn't ruin it, it takes
Mm,
it a little bit outside of the realm of kind of this reality. It's a little bit meta, but that's sort of what makes it fun. Let's throw it in, and
yeah,
that stuff doesn't surface when it's like a train on the tracks,
yeah,
kind of chug along,
yeah,
done, good enough, deliver, ship
yeah,
it, ship
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry for
I
that.
think no problem. I think that's what matters. It's creativity, being able to make this visually beautiful stuff. It's to me, it's magic. This is a piece of magic.
Yeah.
And as a producer or a studio runner or owner or someone who operates, it's my job to preserve that magic. That's what I see my job as. This magic has to be protected and given as much space as it can to be as the best it can. That's it. That's all the job is. Protect the magic.
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking about it. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Berlin, and then from Berlin, from the people I met there, I ended up going to Ireland to Kilkenny to work at Cartoon Saloon on a TV series there, which was really
Oh.
amazing. And met more amazing people there. And I lived in Kilkenny for a year. And there was a guy I met. There were a bunch of Danish guys there actually, and
Hmm?
one guy I met, he went back. He has a company called Norlum right now. They made the Song of the Sea. He was involved in that. Klaus, his name is. I can't say his last name because I I
Hmm.
can't say Danish names. Um, but he. Do you know the animation Viborg Animation Workshop? I think it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know the.
so he was quite heavily. He's in Viborg. He was heavily
Oh,
involved in that.
okay.
But
Yeah.
he does really beautiful films, and so anyway, he was working in Kilkenny at that time. We went our separate ways. I went back to Berlin, and then I ended up going back to Canada to work on a BBC series. And I went back to Canada. I was like, "Oh, why did I come back here? I already left here." Canada's nice. It's lovely, great people, but again, culturally, you see all these different things, and I felt like I was taking a step backwards.
Yeah. So how many years had passed from the moment you left? You went like, okay, I don't want to work in this culture. I want to work, somewhere in the world
It
and
was
came back.
it was 5 years. It was 5 years. So it was 5 years away. Vietnam was a short stint back to Canada. Then I went to Berlin, then Kilkenny, then back to Berlin. Then I went back to Toronto, and I was like, but it was a great opportunity. I worked for a cool company. I helped them build a company. This is where I sort of got my chops in running companies. Was I was working for this Scottish guy who set up in Canada, and we did 150 episodes of a BBC series called Weebaloo, which was kind of like uh, a, a weird on the weirdness scale of Teletubbies, but
Mm.
Weebaloo. And it was kind of like that. It was a cool show actually. Um, and I was there for 4 years, and I decided that I gotta go back. I wanted to go back to Europe actually because I love Europe, and I had a European passport. Well, it's not a European passport anymore, having a British passport. But I thought, oh, it'd be great to work in the UK. I could easy jet to Budapest. I could easy jet to Prague. I could go to
Yeah.
Madrid or whatever. Blah blah blah. So I was looking around, and then Klaus, back from Cartoon Saloon days, was like, "Hey, I know some Danish guys who have a studio in Thailand." And I went, I've been to that part of the world before. Actually, I could see myself living there." Thailand animation, those are two words that you never really see together that much. Thailand is shopping, beaches, temples, all sorts of horrible, seedy, nefarious things as well. Thailand has this reputation for these things, but it doesn't not it's not known for animation. And so I thought, why not? I could live there, see the animation scene. And so I came here 14, 13 years ago, and I was blown away. I'm still blown away. The talent here is incredible. The the artistic quality, design, not just like a lot of people think of Asia as kind of being the factory where you do all the brain work and the pre-production in the West, and these are the jokes and the ideas, and you send it out to the East to do the heavy lifting. There's lots of people, and people work for cheap, and they're chained to their desk. It's just the work culture
Right.
there.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely not like that at all here. Um, Amazing storyboard artists here, amazing ideas for stories, design, uh, color sense, humor in Thailand is incredible, so funny. Um, and of course, execution, like really great animators, really great modelers, really great lighting artists and compositors, and music and sound. There's all kinds of really cool audio here as well too. It's a really an amazing place, and it still blows my mind after being here for so long that the stuff I see people make here just makes me go, wow, there's some really good talent here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so
Yeah. The humor thing, I've actually, it's, I don't know if it's common knowledge, but I've heard this before. I've seen it said before, and I have experienced it. I have a background in advertising. That's
mm,
where I started. I started very young. When I was 17, I started working in this industry, and I also originally come from a country with no film industry at the time. Specifically, animation hasn't changed much. Uh,
mm.
so I'm originally from Moldova, right? And
Ah, all right.
this is, we're talking early 2000s maybe. Um, so we had to do advertising. You had to kind of find work. We'll do this ad, we'll do this 30-second thing, whatever you need, right?
Mm,
And also extensive background in live action, all sorts of things. And we were doing animation as well, and obviously we were following, the can lions and all that stuff, and following what people do, what's fun in the advertising industry, and all these agencies like Ogilvy and BBDO, and all these um, Publicis, all these huge guys that we really admire, and a lot of smaller agencies that we really loved, and studios like PsyOp out of New York. They were insane. They would do really
right.
really cool stuff. Loved them.
I
Now
love that.
I think,
Those guys are great.
I
Yeah.
think in that sense, just a quick remark. I think Buck is doing really, really great stuff, advertising wise. But anyway, and
Mm,
we were following all these things, and I remember all the award shows that we were watching, and all the sort of short lists. There were a lot of ads that were really doubling down on humor and slapstick and visual humor, with its own kind of flavor, that were coming out of Thailand.
yeah.
Um, like really, really specific. Like you could watch the ad and kind of go, okay, that's out of Thailand. Even if you
Yeah.
didn't know the context specifically, you could
Yeah.
guess because of the flavor of the humor.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah. Thai ads are famous for their ingenuity. Yeah. Really, really good.
But outside of the sense of humor, what would you say are other things that maybe, if you needed to sell Thailand as a place to come and do animation, or invest, or bring a production over?
What I
Um,
what I like about people here or working with people here is, I mean, for one, Thai culture has this politeness about it
hmm,
that I really like it actually. Even you can tell when people kind of don't really mean it, but they're still polite. And maybe it's the Canadian in me, but I I
right.
I, I like that. It's nice. At least you can see, oh, okay, you know what, they're not really into it, but they're still being nice, and I
Yeah.
dig that. I'm cool with that. So in a work culture, you get that a lot as well too, where people will be polite, but they'll also tell you when they think something doesn't look good. Like Thai people will not just blindly take orders and do the thing, you know. Here's your list of things, here's your reference, go ahead. It needs to be done by do do. And then, people will come back and be like, I can make this better. You sure you want that? I
Mm,
think this, eh, what if I did this and that? So there's a lot
yeah.
of that going
Yeah.
on. So it's great. It's really good, and it elevates the process, and it elevates the content because everyone's got some input in it, and people feel like they have a space say something, to put their stamp on it. So
Yeah.
that's one thing I really like about being here as well too. Yeah, and it's not different. It's not. It doesn't come out in the same way as it does in the West, where people are like really direct. It's that politeness. You got to you can sense that something going on there, and you got to kind of pull it out a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
there. People signal. They send you the signals that they think something's wrong.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. In terms of just technical curiosity, I guess, but in terms of the scope or the size of the industry, would it be capable of, let's say, hosting a big production if a feature film came to Thailand for production? Or maybe, pardon my ignorance, maybe that's happening or has happened, but I'm just curious to understand, because I know, like Moldova, for example, or Slovenia, where I'm based right now, can't handle a feature film, the whole
Mm.
production. There's just not enough talent here and
Well,
experience, right?
there's
So,
definitely enough here. I think a feature film, yes, could be done. What what Thailand can't do is the and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but the India does it very well because they have the numbers, but
volume,
the high volume, like
right?
kids TV, 52 episodes kids
Hmm.
TV series. India can do that. China can do that
Yeah.
because they've got the numbers. You can't really do that in Thailand. You could do like a 10 episode kind of special series, with a slightly longer schedule, but you can't cram in 26 half hours or 52 11 minutes here in the typical kids animation series schedule. It's just that you need like 300 people, and you can't. There's just not enough. There's about 4 or 5 pretty big studios here that have about 150 to 180 people in each of them, but it's
Hmm.
really hard. When I was I was running a previous studio for some Danish guys here. We got up to about 200, and it was hard to get past that. It was really
To
hard to get past.
scale past that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was really, really hard. But that
right?
was back in the time when the whole entire world was insanely busy, like during pandemic and
Hmm.
uh, during the streaming wars, where every streaming platform was just starting up, and there was a massive call out for content all over the world. The whole
Yeah.
entire world scaled up for this, right?
Yeah.
The whole world scaled up to fill out content for these 10 platforms,
Mm.
and then after a year or two, when all these platforms realized we're greenlighting all this mediocre stuff and nobody's watching it, they turned off the tap. They turned off the tap, and the whole world scaled up, and then they turned off the tap, and so
Yes.
everyone was left with their pants around their ankles, going, standing naked in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true, but also what you said is true in that there's very little. I keep saying it. I feel old. I feel like such an old person sometimes. It's like nothing excites me anymore. Back in the day when they used to make things, I was so excited about, oh, the new season of this and the new, I don't know, sequel of that or whatever. If I loved the franchise or so on, but it's very hard for me to get excited about content. Part of it is because there's just so much.
yeah,
It's so. It's like, stop. Like, let me take a breath,
yeah,
and then you get desensitized to a certain degree to it. Like the next new something or other is coming out, and in
yeah,
any other context, you'd be kind of, oh, that's interesting. That's kind of like a 4 quadrant thing. We can all watch it and not fight over the remote for one night. That would be wonderful, right?
yeah,
But it's just, I don't know. It's just the times for me. It's
yeah.
weird.
It's
So much,
overwhelming.
too much. Like with the
Yeah,
social media, we were talking a little bit about this last week. Um, in private, it's the same thing. It's like it's too much. There's
yeah,
some value in it, and I see the positives, and right, but it's just too much. Like, why? I don't need this. Nobody needs this, right? With the exception of the CEOs behind these companies that go
yeah,
bigger, more, bigger. you know, nobody wants this really, and it's like they shoving this stuff down our throats. And it's the same with content. You know, I love movies, I love cinema, but I see myself very rarely getting excited about, man, I got to see this on the big screen. There's sometimes something comes out and I go, oh, that'll be good enough. And, you know, I got my 65, 75 inches in the living room. It'll be good enough. It's fine. I don't need to. I got a good sound system. Right? And very rarely I go, oh man, this is real. I really need to go see this on the big screen because this is going to be that kind of experience, you know. So anyway,
I also feel too that I don't know if this is right or not. This is just my feeling, and sometimes my mood really affects my feeling or my
mhm,
perception of things, of course, as we all do. But um, and I often compare things to music because I come from a music
yeah,
background. But um, you know, there used to be uh, an album would come out, right? And it would be a special thing. There would be like your band that you love is putting out a new album. There was a hype. People were anticipating it, but now on Apple Music, there's like every day
yeah,
there's like 50 new albums. Like I can't keep up.
yeah,
And then the other thing too, sorry, I was veering off. What I wanted to say was I feel like I feel like have we maybe tapped out all the original ideas for everything? Because because everything seems like it's a combination or a regurgitation or a a fine tuning of something that's already been.
right,
Again with music, like there's a lot of really great bands. Like I've heard this band the other day. What are they called? The Drin. Anyway, whatever, the Drin, and they have this song, and I'm like, this sounds like that one song from a 1982 New Order album
hmm,
I love, and I was like, but that band, their sound is that song, that one song from that one band from back then. They've taken
yeah,
that one song and they've made a genre out of it,
yeah,
and it's and then all of the other bands I listen to, they're good, but they're all like sound like kind
yeah.
of like that, or sound sort of a combination of this and that from back then.
Yeah.
Everything comes from something else. And I don't,
Which is that the natural order of things, though? I wonder, to a certain degree. I was watching an interview with Vivienne Westwood, which is
mm,
famous fashion designer, incredible person, and she was actually kind of disagreeing, sort of, with this point of view in a certain sense, in that, like, when people were talking about, oh, this is not original enough, she was questioning that idea of what is originality,
right.
what is original. Uh, you can't make something out of nothing. There
Yeah.
must be some inspiration, there must be some starting point, turning point, there must be
Mm,
something where you kind of go, aha, oh, that's interesting, let me flip that on its head and then
yeah,
filter through the
fair
prism of
enough.
blah 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 blah, right? So I mean, and there's something to that, I think. However, I also see and agree what you're saying, in that maybe what is missing a little bit is a bit of boldness. Is like, take
Mm,
that, get inspiration, make it your own. Take one song and turn that into a whole musical genre. Fine,
yeah,
but then, like, go all in, right?
yeah,
And be you in the process of doing that, and
yeah,
really take it through to a point where you can't take it any further, and then step over the line and go, oh, I'm stepping over the line, and then take two steps back and go, okay, this is where it's going to be.
right.
This is the thing that I've made, right? And represents me deeply. But oftentimes, and especially like preschool, bringing this back on topic, which I think really applies, preschool animation, for example, a lot of it is just facsimiles, carbon copies. Not even so much the stories and the episodes, which is fine. It's didactic, it's educational, it's whatever,
Right.
and same army of consultants are saying all the same things to all these
Right.
same students,
Right.
right? And kind of going, okay, curriculum, let's go, right? Fine.
Yeah.
It's not even that. If you look at it as a project, as an IP, as a business proposition, they're facsimiles of each other, right? Which is, we're going to make a such and such show within these parameters, and then we want to sell those particular types of toys, and those particular networks, working with those particular people, and then we're going to do this, and then it's just copying sort of the formula of it,
Yeah.
which bothers me a little bit more, even rather than just copying the content or the structure of the content or the feel of the content. And at the end of the day, I think what you end up with, and I remember this frustration when my son was younger, and we were kind of going, I think it's fine, he can watch some cartoons. Now he kind of gets things, so it's going to be entertaining and educational as well for him. Let's look for something good. And we were flipping, through the channels, or the Netflix Kids proposition, or even YouTube Kids at the time, and the choices, it was really hard to go like, oh my god, this is really good, like to find like one thing, that you'll go like, okay, this is a good choice, and not to get sort of toot their horn again too much, but until the kind of Bluey came along, and we went, okay, right. But the fact that it takes 10 years between Blueys, there's something wrong in the industry in terms of how people view things, and they view them through, how do we monetize this, how to strictly, which is a part of it, but it shouldn't be the decision-making part of it in terms of what you offer the audience. Right?
Yeah, well, that's actually Bluey's a great example. And also to say, I don't hate the idea of people wearing their influences on their sleeve. I don't hate it. There's a lot of great bands right now that do sound like other bands from the past that I love, and it doesn't bug me. It's just, it's just what it is. I just question, is this it? Have we hit the wall?
That's a valid question.
But Bluey, but the Bluey thing is exactly the thing. And people say this, and it really, I'm sorry I have to say it, but the whole reason that Bluey is what it is because it is authentic. It really is. Those guys wrote those stories for themselves. They didn't write it going, okay, sales, toys, toys, toys. It wasn't written for that it was written as a love first, with the commercial success following, rather than the other way around, written for commercial success. And I think people can smell that. How do you capture that authenticity? I have no answer for that. I struggle myself. Not only have I, running and building and producing and all of that, I'm developing my own IP as well too, right? So I'm taking a run for it as well now, which, last year really hit home about it being, oh my God, this is probably quite possibly the worst time to jump into this business, because nobody's greenlighting anything, and nobody's putting money into nobody's giving nobody's nothing. Which bummed me out when it first hit home to me last year. But I have to say, I think actually this is the positive thing I was talking about at the beginning, is that I think this is kind of the best time for animation right now. Like, it's never been more popular. Animation has never been more popular than it is right now. But what's changed is the viewing habits, because kids don't watch TV series. They don't. They're not interested in that. They watch YouTube Shorts, and they play Roblox and Minecraft, and when they're done playing Roblox and Minecraft, they go on YouTube and watch other people playing Roblox and Minecraft. And I it was weird I was like, this is absurd. I don't get it. but I have a 10-year-old son, and he started a YouTube channel. We started one together, so he's got a little YouTube channel going. And when I started recording him and doing his editing, I was like, "Oh, I get this. I get the appeal for this." Because
Mm.
actually these kids, when they go and watch other people play, they're actually getting inspiration on how to play that game. They're learning something. They're like, "Oh, this guy did that, and oh, hey, look at oh, cool." And then they go back and they learn. So it's actually kind of educational in a way. But I get it now. I was weirded out by it at first, but I
Well,
get it.
in a sense, it's like when we were going to the arcades and we were watching the very master of the video games
Standing
playing.
there watching other
Yeah,
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 all
yeah.
all
Yeah,
the crowd
totally.
watching him. It's
Yeah.
sort of the same feeling.
Yeah. Nice comparison. Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
but back to the creator stuff. I think, okay, making a rocking pitch deck, getting a meeting with the right people, that's dead. That's gone. Will
Mm-mm.
that come back in the future? Possibly, maybe. I don't know. But right now, it's dead. I'm not wasting my time doing that because no one's really interested unless I come and show up with an audience of 100,000 subscribers already.
Oh yes,
No one.
That's the thing. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same problem I'm facing now because they just don't want to bet anymore on any
Yeah.
good idea. They just want to have proof that it will work.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? That's okay. Because if you can find a way to start making content, you can post it yourself, you can edit it yourself. Tools are easy. You don't know how to do it, you can find a tutorial. You run it, you manage it, you post it, you monetize it yourself. All of a sudden, you have your own business. If it gets successful and popular, then you've got to go to Netflix or you've got something to talk about with them. If you're really successful, you're holding all the cards.
You don't really need them in a sense.
Well, yeah, and if you're monetizing and making money, what do you need Netflix for?
Yeah.
If nobody's even if kids aren't even watching it, like what's the point?
This new attitude really raised, I think, the barrier of entry, which is sad. Because like, okay, we're not gonna bet on anything completely new or fresh. It doesn't matter what your background is, and maybe you can really, you know, pull this off, and you have the chops and you have the experience, and but you don't have a following yet, you know. So I think it's silly because I think you're leaving a lot of really talented propositions on the table.
Agree.
But and I think what's going to end up happening, this is just my little prediction, the bigger studios are going, okay, you have 100,000 subscribers, great, come to us. And you have 500,000, you have so many views and da-da-da. Oh, we like this, it's a nice, shaping up to be a nice IP. You know what we're going to do for you? We're going to do, I don't know, 100 episodes of some short form something or other, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and maybe we'll give it a little bit of marketing push, and we'll take you from 100K to 3 million in this much time, and da 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 da. But nobody can guarantee that. You know, you don't know how the platforms are going to change, how people's consumption patterns are going to change, and
Totally.
really at some point the creators will go like, but why are we, like, I'm giving away so much
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
investing, what am I getting back? If I just stuck with it, I was already doing fine. It was already a full-time job, let's say, ideally, right? I was already kind of making ends meet. If I just stuck with it myself and kept building it, I would end up in this I would end up in the same space I am now, but without having, you know, all these partners and so on, and all these complicated.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you need something specific, right? You go, hey, I'm coming to you because I need what you do specifically, right? Then it's a different thing. And like you said, Marty, like, when you're holding the cards in your hands. So
Yeah.
when that happens, I really hope that studios with money, like, forget broadcasters even, but like studios with a little bit of money who are looking for new stuff will open themselves up again to completely fresh new
Yeah.
thing. Like, hey, here's a creator who hasn't done anything. They don't have a viral pilot on YouTube. You know, they don't have a following. They don't have a channel. They don't have a personal brand on TikTok or Instagram, but they have the experience. They have the chops. They have a great pitch. They have a great animatic. They have a great idea. You know what? We'll take a chance on them. So I really hope that in a couple of years,
I think
people
it will.
come back full circle.
I think it will. Nothing's forever. The pendulum swings this way and then it swings that way, and it's timing, right? I think, I think, but in the situation today, the UGC, the user generated content,
Yeah.
it's good for us. It's good for all of us creators. You know, Yana, I know you have the silly legs, or what's it called? Crazy legs?
Funny legs. Yeah.
Funny
Funny.
legs. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and really nice. I love that stuff. It's really
Oh,
good.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I that's the good stuff. And I think what I think is really good about your stuff is it's authentic. Actually, it's nice storytelling. It's cute. It's honest, and people, I think, feel that, right? People like that stuff. And you
Thank
know,
you so much.
oh, no problem. Yeah, and the AI slop out there. Okay, it's popular right now. I think people are gonna get bored of it. They're gonna it won't go away forever. You know, there'll be people that are make really cool looking stuff. That'll rise to the top. All the mediocre stuff will wash away at some point. People will have a thirst for original, authentic material. It will come back. It will be there, and it won't be that long, I don't think. So yeah, I think it's a really good time, and I think that's the model we got to follow right now. Do you know the company Glitch Productions in Australia?
I don't think so.
That's the model. That is the perfect model. Glitch Productions. They do the amazing animation show. There was buzz about that a couple of years ago. They had like 1 billion views for their pilot episode on YouTube. And that was all they made. They just made one episode. It doesn't look particularly amazing. It's not eye-popping visual magnificence, but it is speaking exactly to alphas. Exactly. The tone, the voice, the designs, the wackiness, whatever. They hit a nerve.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, and check out their website, because that's what they do. They make shorts, and they have character-based shorts, and they're all over Instagram, and it's really nice looking stuff, but they do it all themselves. No one's funding them. They have their own shop. They may monetize themselves. They ended up, because of the popularity of the amazing animation show, they ended up getting a Netflix deal and airing some episodes, but I don't think anyone cared. Why would you go to Netflix, watch something that you could watch on YouTube? Why? Right?
Yeah.
It's kinda weird. But that's what we gotta do now, is we gotta go do it ourselves.
Yeah. So
We can
Marty,
find Yeah.
you've actually sort of answered in a lot of different ways this question, but maybe if in case there's something you'd like to add, it's like, why don't you quit? What what keeps you motivated? What keeps you excited? Forget motivated. That's a bad word. What keeps you excited? What gets you excited about this?
What's the fallacy of sunk costs? I've been in this for 30 years. I can't quit now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in. I don't know how to do anything else. What keeps me going is, you know, it's when I make something with my friend. Our show, our series is called Tiwa. It's on YouTube right now. I think I posted it in the
Yeah,
school,
it's very
right?
nice.
So
Yeah.
what really does it for me is getting that episode, getting the images from my partner, putting them in the edit, running them together, and that little tingle up the spine that makes me go, "Oh, that's funny. Oh my god, that just makes me smile." That's what keeps me going, because it's that tingle, that spine tingle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that little high you get
Yeah.
when you're putting things together and you kind of get really excited about
Yeah.
uh, stuff. And then sometimes, again, speaking from experience, when you get into routine, certain thing, or you work like on very corporate things, you
Mm.
kind of you work automatically. It's like driving a car, right? You're not
Yeah.
thinking of shifting the gears, just shifting the gears and pressing the
Yeah.
pedal and so on, right?
Yeah.
And then after a certain amount of time, a couple of years, you kind of go, huh, something is not, because that tingle is not there anymore, because it kind of just doing it, going through the motions, right? But that's a great answer. I think I would answer it in a similar way. Like when you're putting things together and things come together and have that one moment of like, that high. Oh man,
Yeah.
it's
Again, back to music. Music does that to me. Like there'll be a song that goes on and I just go, oh, I literally get a tingle up my spine.
totally,
Like
yeah,
that song just, wow.
yeah,
Making something creative gives me that feeling, and that's what it's about.
right,
If someone else gets that from the thing that I make, wonderful. If
yeah,
nobody else does and I still get it, that's okay for me too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It is, yes, and you can chase that in different ways, right? Listening to music, making other things, or other kind of creative endeavors.
Heroin.
Yeah, it gets expensive after a while, and not as effective, I'm told.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I have one final kind of question, but before I do that, I was wondering if there's anything else that maybe you wanted to say or cover or talk about that we didn't get to, that you really needed to kind of get out.
No, I just wanted to babble about
All right, cool.
feelings. I just think there's gloom and horrible, everything
Yeah,
sucks. We're all losing our jobs over here, but there's also actually we can do it all ourselves here. We don't need help. Well, please,
yeah.
a little
So
investment. But
right. So my last question is a little bit of a gimmick. The community I'm building here is called the Toon Room. For now, before we get sued by Toon Boom, somebody told me that it's too it's too close.
the Toon Broom.
Yeah, but we're in the Toon Broom closet, but we're a completely different thing, and it's not a business. So hopefully they'll spare us and show us mercy. But if you had, so it's that idea that like I wanted people to kind of come into this little party that we have here, come into this little group that you know is can give you so much value. So that's why I really, when I came up with it, I really like, oh, the tune room, like a little room, like a little lounge, like a little sort of thing. So if for people coming in, if it was your week to put a note on the door, what would you write on that note?
I don't know.
If you were inviting people in, let's say also seasoned professionals, but also we can think about people who are just starting up, maybe you know more importantly, people who are kind of just at the beginning of their careers potentially in this turmoil and where the industry is. Like, what would your
I would put up safe space.
okay?
Safe space for artists, safe space for weirdos, safe space for nerds, introverts, whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah,
Safe space. Yeah.
cool, nice. Safe space for weirdos. I'll use that.
Yeah. And Susanna, you said you were just getting into this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Good. Excellent.
Thank
There's
you.
no time like the present. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Cool, Marty. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening.
I'm sure we could do this for another hour, but I like to keep these tight
Yeah.
and short, so they're easy to manage. Um, so if there's anything else that maybe Susanna, Yana, you want to add to this?
I was thinking about the what you were talking previously about how different it is now in animation to find good ideas and so on. So I had a thought from a person that is not into this field. For example, when I think about the old Disney movies, I believe like the story was not that original because they all came from Grimm's tales or from, I don't know, classical novels like Robin
Right.
Hood or whatever. But it's the way that it was portrayed. Like they were so layered, like they had so many details, so many things that were not actually adding something to the story, but they were adding something to the characters. They were making it so special. Because every time I watch again a Disney movie from the old time, from the 60s or the 70s, every time I notice something that either I didn't remember or I didn't notice in the first place. So I think about, for
Yeah.
example, the scene in Robin Hood where they're just playing badminton.
Mhm.
It is a very long scene. Like it doesn't really add so much to the story, but it gives so many details about the characters, who they are, how they behave. And I think this is missing a little bit in the modern animation because they focus a lot on action, just everything is
Or
based on the
visual.
story, and you don't have these moments that actually give depth to this, to the animation, to
Yeah.
so I think this is something that is
Kind of a
missing.
relatable humanity to it.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the little things,
Yeah.
because this is what makes it special to me.
Yeah. Well, this is the rule for animation or IP is number one, characters. Number
Mm.
two, characters. Number three, characters. That's what it is. It's characters, right?
Yeah.
It really is. And that's why I think that Glitch Productions is so successful. If you look at their website, it's about the characters. It's
Okay.
all about the characters. They have a few different IPs, but they're all characters. People love their characters. That's what it's about. Disney's also, well, was, even still is to a degree, spectacularly good at pulling the heartstrings.
Mm.
They know how to pull the heartstrings. Even I'll watch a Disney movie and I'll get choked up at some point near the end.
Mhm.
And I'll say, damn you! Why did that? You know, even I might not feel like, oh, this is a formulaic Western Disney, blah. They still make me choke up. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Character development. It's
Mm.
key. It's totally key. Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, that's what makes you care, right?
Yeah.
You understand, you get the characters, you relate to the characters.
Yeah.
What makes you care? Otherwise, it can be the most beautiful thing in the world if you don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
care.
Well, maybe not just characters, but also these little moments that seem useless, but they're not actually, because they make an experience different. For example, I don't know if you remember, like the Dalmatians, 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
There is a scene where the two thieves, I don't know the names in English, they just watch a television show where there is a television show in which they have to guess something in a quiz, television quiz, and this
Okay.
scene seems useless to the story, but it's actually entertaining, even if it's not bringing much to the story itself. Like they could also have not shown the whole television show, but just a few clips. But they wanted to focus on this because they created characters just for the television show scene. And that entertains the viewer, I guess. And now
Yeah.
they're not doing this very much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. There's lots of theories about the state of storytelling and movie making, and I stumble upon people postulating and giving their opinions about it
Mhm.
left and right on every social media. It's like everyone has an opinion and is trying to monetize it. So yeah, agree.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Marty, so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
really. Thank you guys.
It was really
And
nice.
yeah,
And we'll talk some more in the community. It's open. We can start any conversation. That's what it's for, so we can just throw thoughts back and forth.
I will come back to join more. I just, as I
Mhm.
told Alex the other
when
day,
you're ready.
I'm commenting, interacting, engaging. I have to take a
Yeah.
break.
It's totally
Okay, see you guys.
I need to go.
Thank-
Sorry.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Bye,
guys.
Thank
Marty.
you so
Bye.
much. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.